The philosophy of life is one of the most classic and broad themes in philosophy. In this episode, we discuss it. So watch this video all the way through so you don't miss out on insights that can brighten your day. Without further ado, let's get started. In simple terms, it addresses the big questions like, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of human life? How should we live? What makes life valuable or meaningful? Some of the major schools of thought related to the philosophy of life. 1. Existentialism. Figures: Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus, Søren Kierkegaard. Existentialists believe that life has no inherent meaning. Humans must create their own meaning, even if the world seems absurd and purposeless. 2. Stoicism. Figures: Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. Stoics taught that a happy life comes from accepting what we cannot control and directing our attention to what we can control, our own thoughts and attitudes. 3. Nihilism. Friedrich Nietzsche. Nihilists argue that there is no objective meaning in life. Nietzsche, in particular, calls for creating our own values after the death of God. 4. Hedonism. Figures: Aristippus, Epicurus. Hedonists assume that the purpose of life is the pursuit of happiness and the avoidance of suffering, although Epicurus emphasizes simple pleasures and moderate living. 5. Humanism. People. Various modern thinkers. Humanism emphasizes the importance of human worth and dignity, encouraging us to seek meaning through human relationships, achievement, and personal development. 6. Absurdism. People. Albert Camus. Camus described life as absurd. There is a clash between the human search for meaning and the indifference of the universe. However, instead of giving up, Camus encourages us to rebel by continuing to live and create our own meaning. Okay, let's delve a little deeper into the philosophy of life. A philosophy of life is the way humans understand the meaning of life, its purpose, values, and the direction to take. It's like an inner map that guides us as we face joy, sorrow, challenges, and happiness. Some of the big ideas in the philosophy of life. 1. Life as a journey in search of meaning. In many philosophical traditions, life is considered a search, not a ready-made answer. Viktor Frankl, a psychologist and philosopher, said, "The meaning of life is not found out there, but must be created by each individual. We alone are responsible for shaping the meaning of our experiences." 2. Life is temporary and precious. Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius often reminded us of the transience of life. You can die at any time. Let this determine how you live and speak and think. The realization that life is short makes every moment more important. 3. Life is about harmony. In Eastern traditions, such as Taoism, the ideal life is about flowing with nature, wu wei, acting without compulsion. A good life is not about imposing one's will, but about moving in harmony with the world. 4. Life is full of suffering, but understandable. In Buddhism, life is full of dukkha, dissatisfaction or suffering. But there is a way to overcome it, which is through understanding, compassion, and letting go of attachments. 5. Life as a stage of freedom. Existentialists such as Sartre believe we are condemned to be free. That is, we are free to choose, but freedom is hard because we have to take full responsibility for our lives. Want me to continue giving examples of philosophies of life from various cultures, e.g., Japan, ancient Greece? Okay, let's talk a little bit about how the philosophy of life according to ancient Greek culture. Ancient Greek culture is like the birthplace of many philosophical ideas about life that are still influential today. Some important philosophies of life from ancient Greece. 1. Eudaimonia, true happiness, Aristotle. For Aristotle, the ultimate goal of human life is eudaimonia, often translated as happiness, or more precisely, a well-developed life. But not just happy for a moment, rather living in accordance with the virtues, courage, justice, wisdom, self-control. A good life is a life lived using reason and virtue. 2. Simple and independent living, Stoicism, Zeno, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics taught that a happy life means living in line with nature and accepting what happens beyond our control. True happiness comes from controlling one's own mind, not from wealth or fame. It is not the things themselves that trouble men, but their judgment of them. Epictetus. 3. Enjoy life, but wisely. Epicurus is often misunderstood as a wild hedonist. In fact, he taught the pursuit of simple pleasures, friendship, inner peace, freedom from fear. If you want to make a man rich, do not increase his possessions, reduce his desires. The conclusions of the philosophy of life of ancient Greek culture can be summarized as follows. The purpose of life is to achieve true happiness, eudaimonia, which is a life lived with virtue, reason, and balance. The good life is a life of constant examination. We must continue to question, reflect, and understand ourselves. Socrates. Happiness does not depend on external things, but on our own attitudes and thoughts. Stoicism. Life should be enjoyed wisely, not by pursuing excessive pleasure, but with moderation and inner peace. Epicurus. Everything in this world is always changing, so humans must be wise in facing changes. Heraclitus. In short, ancient Greek philosophy teaches that a meaningful life is to live by thinking, acting with virtue, and accepting the world as it is, while continuing to develop into the best version of ourselves. And now, let's discuss a little about the philosophy of life according to Japanese culture. Japanese culture has a deep philosophy of life, inspired by Shinto, Zen Buddhism, and their own historical experiences. Here are some famous Japanese philosophies of life. 1. Wabi-sabi, beauty in imperfection. Wabi-sabi teaches us to accept imperfection, uncertainty, and transience. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. There is beauty in the cracks, scratches, and changes of time. That is why in Japanese culture, old, worn, or even cracked objects are valued because they show the journey of life. 2. Ikigai, reason to live. Ikigai means reason to get up in the morning. This philosophy combines 4 elements: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be rewarded for. Ikigai is the balance between passion, mission, profession, and calling. Many Japanese believe that finding ikigai brings happiness and longevity. 3. Mono no aware, awareness of transience. This is a sense of compassion for the fact that everything is temporary. The most famous example, cherry blossoms. They bloom for a short time, then fall, precisely because of their ephemeral beauty. 4. Gammon, fortitude and resilience. Gammon means the ability to calmly endure hardship. It's not just about patience, but also about maintaining dignity and remaining calm without complaining when facing life's challenges. 5. Kintsugi, repairing with gold. When a piece of ceramic is broken, the Japanese don't hide the cracks. They repair it with molten gold, making the scars part of the history and beauty of the object. Your scars are part of your story, not your shame. Japanese culture has a very deep perspective on time, change, and the relationship between humans and nature. In conclusion, the philosophy of life from Japanese culture teaches us that life is temporary and imperfect, but that is where its beauty lies. Wabi-sabi, mono no aware. Finding meaning in life is important, not just surviving, but finding a personal reason to wake up every day, ikigai. Resilience, patience, and accepting pain as part of the journey of life make us stronger and more beautiful. Gammon, kintsugi. The bottom line is that life is not about pursuing perfection, but about accepting, appreciating, and growing from all experiences, both the beautiful and the difficult. The conclusion about the philosophy of life in general is, life is a journey to find meaning, not just survival. Every human being is responsible for shaping their own life according to their values and choices. Life is not always perfect or eternal, but that is where the beauty lies. True happiness comes from within, through kindness, acceptance, self-awareness, and relationships with others. Suffering, change, and challenges are a natural part of life, not something to be rejected, but rather understood and faced wisely. The point is, the philosophy of life invites us to live more consciously, deeper, more meaningfully, not just following the flow without direction. If you like this kind of content, please like, comment, and subscribe, as well as turn on the bell button, so as not to miss when we upload the new video, because it will make me excited to make even better content. Thank you.